She's going to say enough. Enough of this lifestyle. If you want to be a husband, be a husband. And he's going to listen to her. But he is utterly in love with her. He's just not a morning person. I think about that sometimes too. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have kids. Hi everyone, welcome back to Nelly Tarot. My name is Hallie, so grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I'm doing a couples update. I'm doing two couples. I'm doing Nelly and Ashanti, and I'm also doing Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake. So I pre-shuffled some of the cards, and I'm going to start with Nelly and Ashanti. Please subscribe, please comment, please like the video. At the end, I actually have a link below. I released my first app that I coded myself, so it would be very nice if you all supported me and left a review. I would be utterly grateful if you did so. Yeah, so let's get into the reading. I'm doing two couples, like I said. I'm going to start off with Nelly and Ashanti, and then I'll do Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake. I'm using the Earth Woman Tarot for Nelly and Ashanti. So what inspired this was a lot of people have been going crazy online, social media, saying, oh, Nelly doesn't want to change diapers and so forth, which I think is so crazy. I think that bonding time with your child, some cultures are very set on having women be, and I think a lot of rappers and basketball players, athletes, they tend to have women that are stuck in that role of the caretaker, and that's why I've never been attracted or drawn to men like that, because I think regardless of how much money you make, at the end of the day, spending time with your child is quality time, and it's time that you really should cherish. So it's just concerning that he looks at it like that, because I don't know, it's just very concerning. But anyways, that's their relationship. I just think that changing diapers is quality time with your child, and it's very sad that people still think like that. Like, I'm not going to get up to change diapers, and I just wasn't raised like that. My dad changed diapers, even though he ran a multi-million-dollar million rand in South Africa company. I don't look at it like that. I just was never raised. I was actually telling a friend this quick story. I was telling a friend that in Miami I encounter a lot of misogyny, and I didn't really grow up, even though I grew up in South Africa, I grew up in England. I never had to deal with misogyny. It's only here in Miami where I see it so prevalent, and I'm very grateful that I didn't have to. Even in New York and LA, people are not really like, there isn't like blatant misogyny. There is misogyny, it's subtle, so it does exist, but very blatant misogyny I have never had to deal with until moving here. So the idea of woman in the kitchen, man working, I never do what a woman can do. It's just it doesn't appeal to me at all, and I think that relationships like that don't really last. Anyway, so let's get into it. So I forgot exactly the reading. I did a reading a long time ago about them. I think it was 3 years ago when they first got back together, because they dated a long time ago. Somebody commented that I should do it. I didn't meet Ashanti, excuse me. I saw her in the street when I lived in London. I was 16, I think. Was I 16? Yeah, I think I was 16. And we were walking, my sister and I were walking down the street, and she was standing by a payphone with her mother. And I remember it so vividly because it was in this area in Notting Hill in London, and she was gorgeous. She was so pretty, and she just glowed. I remember she was wearing like a pink coat with fur, and it inspired me to get one too. I was like, I want to look like that. But she was outrageously gorgeous in person, stunning, like glowing. And her mother looks like her, so they were standing next to each other. Her mother's a little shorter, or maybe she wasn't wearing heels. She was wearing boots, Ashanti, from what I could see. She was wearing black boots and jeans, like these faded out jeans. I remember, even though 20 years ago. Crazy, I was about to say 10 years ago, it was 20 years ago, but I remember it so well because she was so beautiful, and I was like, wow, Ashanti, she's stunning. So anyways, I saw her a long time ago, so I understand why men are so drawn to her. You know, she's had a history of stalkers, I believe. I don't condone stalking. I've had stalkers too. It's not fun, but I'm just saying she has an energy that people are drawn to. I can see it very strong. She's magnetic, you know. I know she's a sun in Libra and he's a sun in Aries, and I remember reading that in the charts and thinking, this is interesting. Very interesting. So let's get into the reading. So with the Lovers, 3 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles. So it looks like it doesn't bother her, and it is their relationship. I just want to make that very clear to everybody. It is their relationship. And I remember when I did the first reading on them, I remember saying that if he can meet her, the evolved version of her, that they would be very happy together. I don't fully remember because this was 3 years ago, but I remember something along those lines. And I do many readings, and I do personal readings too, so I've done many readings, so I don't remember exactly verbatim what I said, but I do remember I said something along the lines of, he will have to work and really show her that he's changed, so that they can both accept each other, you know, which I think has been a big issue for them, big issue, because he's still stuck in, I'm like this from before, and she's like, no, she's forward thinking, you know. She might have Gemini in her chart too, but I can tell she's a very forward thinking person. So with the Lovers, I already read that, 3 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles. I see that she's going to ask him to stop working so much, and she's kind of like, she has the positive traits of Libra. I love. As you all know, if you follow my channel, I'm not the biggest Libra fan, but when they are sweet, they can be very sweet. And she reminds him to lighten up. She reminds him to live. She reminds him not to take things so seriously. She reminds him to not get stuck in. I think if they can really communicate, they will have a great relationship. Now, I say this all the time. Just because somebody has a relationship, I'm a reader, I'm a tarot reader. I don't project what I want onto a relationship. The diaper thing would bother me. It doesn't bother her. It doesn't have to bother her, you know. And I think sometimes as women, we want all women to think like us. We want all women to be in the same circumstances as us. But that's not how it is. We have different love languages. We have different backgrounds. We have different upbringings. Some people, it's okay with them, and it's okay as long as she's not being abused. Let her live her life the way she wants to. She wants to stay married to Nelly. Let her. That is her life. I can't iterate that enough, because people always want to push whatever idea they have onto a celebrity that they like. It doesn't work like that. So the King of Cups, 8 of Cups, and Queen of Swords. So something's going to happen. I do remember I did see this before in the last reading I did, that something is going to happen. It's like a big scandal. Someone's going to claim something about him, and she's going to put her foot down and say, enough going out, enough working hard. Because I think he goes on tour, he comes back, and when he's on tour, somebody's going to say something. It's going to be leaked to the blogs, and she's going to say, enough of this lifestyle. If you want to be a husband, be a husband. And he's going to listen to her. But he is utterly in love with her. He's just not a morning person. I think about that sometimes too. I'm like, oh my gosh, when I have kids, I'm gonna have to get up in the morning. And I used to get up early before, for many years, but now I don't like to get up early. It's a drag. But anyways, we have to do what we have to do, right? But I understand. I can relate to him not being a morning person. It's not that I'm not a morning person. I like to get up 8 or 9, you know, not 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It takes a toll on the body. So I do get it, and I suppose that's why people have kids earlier, you know. But that's their relationship. I'm just saying I do understand. Okay, so let's move on to Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. So I have pictured this for quite some time, that there's a lot of fracturing in their relationship. I said that honestly, I say this all the time when I do readings on them. I'm shocked that they're still together, not in a bad way, just in a wow. I'm really shocked that they're still together. But with that being said, with the Hermit, I get the energy that she is very quiet. She might have Virgo in her chart, but she's very quiet. She's working on a few things. I saw she has a show. I actually want to watch that show. I think it's called Big Sister, something like that, with Elizabeth Banks. With 6 of Cups, Knight of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles, it seems as though he's trying to offer her things. I've said this before, that she's kind of removed herself, and she doesn't really... I see them living very separate. I wouldn't be surprised if they're separated, honestly. Living very separate lives, not really entertaining one another. Ace of Pentacles, the Star, which is, he's a Sun in Aquarius, the Hierophant, and she's not really... He's trying to do all these things for her, and she's like, Ace of Pentacles, the Star, Hierophant. He's trying to... She's basically checked out, I think, you know? And people go about being checked out differently. If you have a family, I'm making a generalization based on friends I have, people I've known, and situations I've seen. But if you come from a family where your parents stayed together, they've been together, which I get with her, you tend to stick out the tough times, and you tend to not really want to run from the relationship as much, because you've seen your parents go through miserable times together and still stay together. However, on the contrary, Justin, just like I did, if you grow up with parents that divorced and didn't really, you know, parents can do what they want to do. I'm just saying it has an effect on children. If you grow up with single parents, it gives you a sense of autonomy in relationships. So you kind of have to develop trust for your partner, especially in long-term relationships. And also remember that things aren't always going to be perfect. So his mechanism, especially also the Sun in Aquarius, he runs. A lot of Sun in Aquarius men I've dated, I know they tend to be runners, and when things get really tough, they leave. They don't even say anything, they're just gone. A lot of Sun in Aquarius men I know, they just ghost people and they disappear, and it's not really... Oh, I've hair in my mouth. It's not really fair to the other person, and I get it. You know, people get really upset when people ghost people. I have ghosted not lots of people, but I've ghosted some people. If I feel like you're not going to understand me, or it's not really a real relationship, I feel like I'm not going to be heard, or if I come to you with something and you're going to get crazy and rude and disrespectful and loud, or if you dated for like a week or two and I see you doing something on a date, I don't feel like explaining myself to you. So that's when I tend to just distance myself. If it's a relationship, I never ghost people, and he's not like that. I think he tends to ghost, disappear, come back, disappear, come back, which is not fair to the other person. It's really, really not fair. And she's kind of done with him, but she knows, you know, those type of people, they know they have to leave. They're just looking for a way, you know. It's very sad. I wish her the best. I think, and some people wrote in the comments that she's not very nice. I don't know her personally. The energy that I get is that she's just with the wrong person. You know, who you're with really shapes the outcome of your life. It shapes so much, and it seems to me like she's not with the right person. King of Wands, King of Pentacles, and the Emperor. And I think they've broken up before, and when they break up, he comes back, and he's like, I want you back. It's more about his ego, because I think he wants to do the breaking up when he's finally gotten everything he can from the relationship. So that's what I see. Let me just show you the cards really quickly. So yeah, that's what I see for both these couples. I've said this before, I'm really shocked. Not in a bad way, I don't mean to be mean, but I'm just shocked that they've stayed together this long, honestly. But I wish them well. I really, really do. I'm not saying that through condescending. I do, especially when kids are involved. It's not easy. So thank you everybody for watching. I love you all.